Imagine a modern megacorporation, but equipped with a 260,000-man private army. That is twice the size of the British national military at the time, with every soldier answering to a corporate boardroom. This was the East India Company. It was a business that possessed the legal authority to wage war, conquer nations, and, as seen on this 1808 copper coin, mint its own sovereign currency. It began in 1600 as a maritime startup. A group of London merchants pooled roughly £68,000 and secured a royal charter from Queen Elizabeth I to trade in the Indian Ocean. They were a scrappy underdog. To succeed, they had to break into a spice trade dominated by the Mughal Empire, the wealthiest power in the world at the time, and the heavily armed Dutch East India Company. To survive this brutal market reality, the small board of directors would have to continuously pivot their business model, a process that would eventually move the company away from simple trade and toward total territorial rule. The first phase of their market entry was a failure. The company tried to seize the Spice Islands, but they were violently beaten back by the superior financing and fleets of the Dutch. They pivoted to mainland India, but their arrival in 1686 was another disaster. They attempted a hostile military action against the Mughal Empire and were completely crushed by the emperor's forces. This forced a shift in corporate strategy. Company officials prostrated themselves before the Mughal emperor, begging for pardons and swearing fealty just to secure small trading posts for textiles and silk. For a century, this strategy of peaceful vassalage generated massive, steady profits. It quietly integrated the company into the Mughal economic system without the need for expensive wars. By playing the role of a submissive trading partner, the company positioned itself inside the empire's borders, waiting for the central Mughal authority to weaken. In 1707, that collapse began. As the Mughal Empire fractured into competing states, the company weaponized the chaos to begin its second phase, a hostile takeover. They created the Sepoy Army, local Indian soldiers trained with European discipline and field cannons. This allowed a corporate force to defeat massive regional armies and rival French companies. Following victories like the Battle of Plassey, the company crossed the line from merchants to rulers. They seized direct administrative control of Bengal, the richest province in the region. This chart shows the shift in how they made money. Profit no longer came from buying and selling goods. Instead, taxation revenue violently spikes as the company begins the brutal extraction of wealth from the local populace to fund British estates. This corporate efficiency had a human cost. The company's policies directly led to the Great Bengal Famine of 1770, where 10 million people starved to death while the company continued to collect its revenue. When corporate optimization is applied to human governance, the result is a system of mechanized extortion that prioritizes shareholder dividends over human survival. The company's fourth phase was the expansion of its markets. Facing a massive trade deficit with China for tea and porcelain, the board pivoted to state-sponsored narco-trafficking. They used their conquered Indian land to mass-produce opium, smuggling it illegally into China. They intentionally sparked an addiction epidemic across the country to balance their corporate books. When the Qing dynasty attempted to stop the drug trade, the company leveraged British naval power to trigger the First Opium War. This corporate drug war redrew the map of Asia. It forced trade concessions from China and led to the seizure of Hong Kong, giving the company a permanent maritime base for its operations. A corporation designed solely to extract maximum profit proved incapable of governing millions. The resulting instability erupted in the Indian Rebellion of 1857, which caused the massive physical destruction seen here. The company's business model shattered under the weight of the revolt. To protect its geopolitical interests, the British government was forced to intervene. This led to a total government bailout. The Government of India Act of 1858 was passed, which officially nationalized the company and stripped it of its territories. The British Crown absorbed the company's armies and lands, beginning the era of the British Raj. The vestigial company, now powerless, was finally dissolved in 1874. The history of the East India Company shows the outcome when the logic of shareholder profit is equipped with the unchecked military and sovereign power of a state.